女の奇妙な冒険、アイズ・オブ・ヘブン。
So I'm continuing the JoJo journey. Originally, I was like, I believe I was talking about how Rocket came up with the. Originally, I was talking about how Rocky came up with the manga for JoJo. But now it's not technically it. That was just like a small description. The bigger description was that he used artwork from illustrations that goes all the way back to feudal Japan, as well as illustrations from feudal Japan times, and illustrations and modeling from 20th century, early 20th century. So what he did is he combined both medieval Japan's art style, illustration style that was used during that time, mostly on sheetrock, or back then it wasn't sheetrock, it was plain old boards and thin boards, and then he combined it with the art illustration from the mostly magazine art illustrations from the 20th century with regards to fashion modeling. So there were two types of modelings that existed. Was the more medieval, ancient one, and then there was the modern one, and then there was the more medieval expression one with regards to characters and stuff, and then there was the model poses and everything, expression ones with regards to 20th century stuff. So that's what he did. He combined the old-fashioned poses and modeling from feudal Japan times and combine it with poses and modeling from 20th century magazines for models and stuff. And then he did the same thing with the style of characters and the style of outfits and style of the world itself. He combined both of those things. So especially with regards to what the characters were wearing and how they behaved, it was mostly to fit within the model sense of modeling an outfit or modeling a piece of jewelry or something that was seen back in feudal times, and then made sure that it's mixed with modeling that you see in magazines from 20th century, both fashion and fitness magazines. So that's what was his idea. Like before things became like Gucci and stuff, it was mostly like Polo and stuff. And then it became more like Gucci. And yeah, that's how JoJo was. It's kind of like a combination of both Polo and Gucci, and I guess you could say some Gabbana in there as well. But it was more like very Brooks Brothers slash Polo at the time, and then it became more like Gucci with regards to style, and all those things were fused within the kind of sense of color and use of color from feudal times, such as bold outlines with regards to characters, like you see on his clothing. The outlines for his jaws and his neck and his clothing are very bold outlines for the character, just like it was back in the days, to make it look like it was an airbrush art style that was used, but it was more like a modern airbrush art style for 20th century. But so that's how that is, and that's how that came to be. I was getting like super loud. So moving on from that, from his art style, you then go into his story, and then from his story is like the same thing. Story is kind of like the same thing, but it has like a little twist to it. The action, the story, the romance, and everything that's included in there are things that he saw from from music and from movies as well. So most of names for characters, their behaviors, their expressions, and the drama that was in there were from a combination of both music and films. Like character behaviors and character names, those things, like anything that you use to build a character within a story, were mostly taken from films and from music. And then the fashion and all that stuff was layered on top. So it was mostly music and the art of filmmaking as well included. So it was filmmaking, music, and I guess you could say creative writing as well, from books to develop the characters. And those three things fused together were how you get certain characters behaving certain ways and their names and how their name sounds and all that stuff. And then moving on from that, then you have the story itself. And the story is a different thing as well. The story were connective tissues story. Like in the beginning, it wasn't, but as the story keep progressing, as more chapters came out, they started to become connected. But at the beginning, it was mostly you have a direction, you have an objective, you do the objective, you move on to the next part, and then you move on to the next part after that. Then you have your climax, and then you move on to your cooldown, and then you have your ultimate showdown. So he followed, when it comes to development of story from beginning, middle, and end, he followed the foundations of storytelling to a T, and then threw some spin on his stories with regards to the how he got from beginning to the end. I don't think he's like I don't think like he's like this other artist I know, or maybe it was him. I think Araki was the guy that just, if it's not Araki, if it's not the Hirohiko Araki, it could be another artist that I'm thinking about. But it was one, I think it might have been the artist of Akira. But what it is if I'm totally wrong, then Araki was the guy that when he makes a story and he doesn't sell it regards from beginning going towards the end. Their pages within sections. So if the idea comes to him as he's making the artwork and creating the art, at whatever section that art belongs, he places it there. And as he's going along, each of those sections are developed and they're placed at their appropriate sections. And then he is able to fill out the beginning, the middle, and the end. So if he has something that's extremely creative and extremely important, but it fits somewhere else, then he places it there because he knows it's important. He doesn't want to lose the value of the art that he created. So I'm not 100% sure if that's Araki or I'm thinking about somebody else. But I'm pretty sure I'm thinking about somebody else. Could be the guy, the other Rocky that did Death Note, Tetsuro Rocky. Uh, yeah, but that said and done, this game is its own thing. It's its own time paradox. It's its own world thing. It's kind of like if Loki was in here and Loki was JoJo, um, but he wouldn't be meeting variants of himself. It would just be able to travel through variant worlds, even though he would see the same people or different people. He'll see different people. He won't see variants of Journal. He won't see variants of Kakuin. He won't see variants of himself. He'll still see the if he's once he goes to that world, he's going to be the Jotaro of that world, regardless of how many worlds he go to. Because one, the budget for this game says it can't be more than one Jotaro, and two, these rifts aren't technically um, worlds; they're different time periods within the JoJo universe. So there's still the story is still going on a singular timeline of the Joestar bloodline, but it's like there are rifts within the time of the JoJo's story bloodline. But if you're going to say there are alternate realities based on events that are happening that are branched off, these rifts still lead you back to the main branch timeline. So there is still connected there. So it's like they're traveling back and forth, back and forth. Because once JoJo defeated Dio in the first chapter, And then once he started to go through rift portals, and he ended up in Giorno's location. Whatever happened from the time he beat Dio to the time he first went through a portal, certain things started to change already as with regards to the story. And the story, this overall story right here of them going through rifts, eventually became a development thing. Not JoJo going through them, but the fact that Speedwagon introduced in this game came through a portal. So the moment Speedwagon first was introduced in the very first chapter of this game, that's when the crossovers of reality changed. So this, you could basically say this game is like its own timeline, because it does not follow the logic of the overall Bloodline story. Now, Jotaro is still going through his processes and his story, um, but by the time, I guess you could say this whole Rift story is either way into the future, um, past part 8, or it's a separate section going towards part 8. Or, like I said, it's a separate story of the main branch timeline, which means these people are all, if they're not variants of the main branch timeline, they eventually are going to go back to the main branch timeline where they appropriately belong, and then every one of them are going to forget, or they're going to remember, but they're never going to bring it up. That's a nice little way of closing out the timeline and pretending like this game never happened, but they all still have the experience and knowledge that it did. So, very interesting. So I'll keep playing the game, and then I'll play part 3. I believe part 1 and 2 is finished, and now, yeah, it says so. Part 2 is finished, it started, and it's finished. Now I have to go to part 3.
ダイヤモンドは砕けない。1999年の日本 S 市森王町に住む不良の高校生東方丈介。彼は仲間たちと協力して森王町に潜む恐怖の殺人鬼吉田義景と戦い、これを倒すことに成功した。ここは日本じゃねえか。
この町はまさか見覚えがあるような気がする。ひょっとして。
どうしたジジイ。
いや、なんでもないぞ、丈太郎。さあ、聖なる遺体を探そうじゃないか。
あれは。
奥安のやつ、風邪で欠席なんぞしやがってよ。どうせずる休みだろ。家に行ってとっちめてやろうぜ。
もう何言ってるの？お見舞いでしょ？
おいおいおいおい、マジか？すげえ！丈太郎さんにクリソスなやつがいるぜ。何者だありゃ。ここらじゃ見ねえ制服だよな。 世の中には3人そっくりな奴がいるって言うけどよ。ちょい似すぎだろ。
ねえ丈介くん、丈太郎さんにそっくりなんじゃなくて丈太郎さん本人じゃない？
別人だよ。似てっけどよ、若すぎるぜ。
そうかな。
おい。
はい何でしょうか？
一つ尋ねるが、この辺りで何かおかしなことが起きたりしてねえか？
おかしなこと？この森王町でですか？質問の意図がよくわからない。森王町はスタンド使いのせいでおかしなことばかりだし、そもそも丈太郎さんのそっくりさんと話をしてるこの状況もおかしいよ。
奥安、おめえなーに街中うろついてんだよ。やっぱ仮病使ってやがったな。
許せねえ。
あ？
俺たちを邪魔する野郎は許せねえ。ザ・ハンド。何や。
スターやれやれ。異変の影響を受けたスタンド使いか？
今のはスタープラチナザワールド？
奥安くん、いきなり何を。
1988年の全盛期の能力かな。
ロハン先生、
実に興味深いよ。始末する前に君を本にして読ませてもらうとするかな。もちろん君たちもね、光一くん、丈介。
おいロハン、何わけわかんねえこと言ってやがる。
君たちはあのお方にとって邪魔なんだ。だから
まとめて削り取ってやる。
奥安くん、ロハン先生。
奴ら本気だぜ。光一、スタンドで身を守れ。 しょうがねえ。やるしかね
なぜ奥安君やロハン先生と戦わなくちゃいけないんだ。
我らはこの虹浦奥安のザ・ハンドが消す。
書き込んでやるよ。君たちはここで死ぬとね。
オープンだけ。
アクト2。
やれやれだ。
いまいち髪型が決まんねえな。
やれやれだ。
いまいち髪型が決まんねえな。
我らはこの虹浦奥安のザ・ハンドが消す。
書き込んでやるよ。君たちはここで死ぬとね。
まさか丈太郎さん。
てめえは丈介とか言ったか。一体何者だ。
オープンだけ。遊びたいモードを選びたまえ。行きたまえ。行くぞ。わかった。
しょう。
オープンだけ。
アクト2。
ここはオプションモードだ。すごくフェリッシモ。いい。
See, unless I'm missing something, the option to actually increase the volume and decrease the volume should have actually been in the mission as well. It shouldn't just have been, well, you know, you're able to choose certain things in the mission, but you can't increase the volume up while you're in the mission. It's like they completely forgot about that part. It's not a big deal, but if you're right in a battle, you have to go all the way back to the beginning of the stage again, and then you have to do the battle all over again. So it's kind of annoying at the same time. It's not 100% annoying, but it is kind of annoying. Um, just like my freaking profile picture that I just try to re-edit like multiple times and still being a pain in the ass for the damn Twitch. I don't know how many times I have to adjust that damn thing. But I do know that I guess if I adjust it, well, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to. It's really annoying me, but yeah. So I'm gonna increase the volume of this and continue the mission. I'll do that some other time.
重要なのは設定に対する君のリモールここはオプションもいつでも来てくれ待ってるよ
奇妙な冒険が始まるぞ
Actually, if I don't adjust it now, it's gonna annoy me all day, the whole time I'm playing. So I might as well just move it right now, rather than it just be in the back of my mind. I can't play the damn thing, play this game because of that.
行くぞ。分かった。
Alright, so I'm back. I'm just gonna continue the story. I won't talk anymore. Just want to see, I had to fix something real quick. Otherwise it would annoy me all day.
いまいち髪型が決まんねえな。
この虹浦を増やすのザ・ハンドが消す。
書き込んでやるよ、君たちはここで死ぬとね。
まさか丈太郎さん。
てめえは丈介とか言ったか。一体何者だ。
オープンだけ。
二人で行くす。
了解っす。
ぶちかますっす。
二人分戦えってわけか。
うるせえな。
やりにくいぜ。うまいぜ。なんだった。セーフティーロック。有無を言わせず先手必勝。なんだ。うまいぜ。有無を言わせず。くそ。それ。それ。なんだって。
二人で行くす。
了解っす。これは
ジョセフ・ジョースター。
やれやれだぜ、クソじじい。
深くここは引くか。
待ちな。こっちの用事は終わってねえぜ。
光一くん。
ロハン先生、元に戻ったんですか？
こいつのことは任せたぜ。俺は逃げた奴を追う。あっちに行ったな。
はい、お願いします、丈太郎さん。奥安くんも戻してください。
ああ、おめえ、なぜ俺の名前を知っている？
ついうっかり呼んじゃったけど。本当に丈太郎さんなんですか？どうしてそんな学生みたいに若くなってるんです？
学生みたいにだと？
丈太郎、日本ってのは案外広いもんじゃのう。道に迷ってしまったわい。
じじい、今さっき未来の俺たちと顔見知りになってる連中と会ったぜ。この森王朝は俺たちのいた時代から10年以上も先だとよ。
さっきの。
東方丈介、おめえの名前は光一に聞いたぜ。奥安って言ったか。ダチはどうした？
よくわからねえ。ここまで追ってきたんだが、体が光ったと思ったら消えちまった。なあ、あんたさっきスタンドで時間を止めたよな。ひょっとしてあんた空城丈太郎さんか？
そうだ。
おお、マジかよ。何？あれはハーベストだ。
なぬ？なんじゃあのちっこいのは。
しげちは死んだはずなのに。待て！
問題ないだろう。行くぜ。ゴーで。 行くぜ。
ししうまくおびき寄せてやったぞ。オラのハーベストは無敵なんだぞ。お前らみんなやっつけてやるぞ。
嘘だろしげち。
クールに決めてやるぜ。
てめえは音石明。どうしてしげちと音石が一緒にいるんだ。
知り合いみてえだが気を許すなよ。奴らは今敵だ。
タギタにしてやるど。
覚悟しねえよてめえら。
やるってんならやってやるぜ。
俺はやると言ったらやる男だぜ。
オープンだけ。
なんだって
射程距離内入ったぜ。これは
ハーベストは強えんだぞ。ハーベストには誰もかなわないんだぞ。
本物のロックだぜ。行くっすよ。
行くぜ。
ちょっとふざけてたな。行くぜ。
負けないんだぞ。また食らったぞ。
何をされた。どくぜ。行くぜ。俺は番外の拍手を送れ。世の中のボケを壊すぞ。ドライザー。もう余裕はねえ。行くっすよ。
行くぜ。
行くぜ。タグ。
やれやれだぜ。
あひー。つえ。
逃げるぞ。
地待てよ。音石逃げんなこの野郎。消えちまった。奥安の時と一緒だ。丈太郎さん、教えてくれ。今何が起きてるんだ。奥安と露伴はどうしちまったんだ。しげちはなんで生き返ってる。丈太郎さんはどうして若返ってんだ。
ふん。俺はめんどくせえ話をするのが嫌いでな。じいじ、頼むぜ。
何？
亀の中に入って説明してやってくれ。
わしがか。いや、しかし急に振られても心の準備が。
俺爬虫類が苦手なんすよ。亀なんかに近寄りたくねえっす。
やかましい。さっさと行け。
怖え。若い丈太郎さん怖え。無理じゃ。わしにはとても。
やれやれだぜ。
丈太郎さん。
光一、それに露伴つったか。
なるほど、なるほどね。へえ。丈太郎さんの10年前を想像して書くとしたら、確かにそういう感じになるかもな。スケッチしてもいいですか。あ、一応敬語を使わせてもらいますよ。今は僕の方が年上だけど。
おめえ、さっきは俺のこと1988年の俺を知ってるみてえな口ぶりだったな。それにあのお方とも言っていた。
そうらしいですね。僕が意味ありげなことを喋ってたって光一君から聞いた。だけど今は何も覚えていない。何のことだかさっぱりだ。まるで頭の中にもやがかかったみたいに思い出せない。
歌教員もそうだったな。異変の影響を受けている時のことは覚えていないか。
光一くん。
あ、由香子さん。
こんなところにいたのね。探すのに苦労したわ。
手間かけさせやがって。あんたたちみんなバラバラに引き裂いてやる。ああ、まさかそんな。
あれが異変の影響ってやつかい。ちょいと観察させてもらうとするかな。
やれやれだ。
いち髪型が決まんねえな。
なめた真似をしないことね。長生きしたいのならね。
なんか若くないっすか？
あ？何言ってやがるてめえ。
オープンだけうまいぜ。
二人で行くぜ。
了解っす。
くらい
これは
いいぞ。
そんなもんかよ。
てめえ
しゃべり距離内入ったぜ。
二人で行くぜ。
了解っす。
私の大切な髪の毛が
入ったぜ。なんつうパワーだ。どうしちゃったんすか、丈太郎さん。
さっきからわけわかんないこと言ってんじゃねえぞ。
光一くん、ま ててね。絶対私がひねりつぶしてあげるから。ゆかこさん、一体どうしちゃったんだろう。まるで昔に戻っちゃったみたいだ。あんな汚い言葉を言って僕を攻撃してくるなんて。
そうかい？昔も今もそんなに変わってないように思うけど。
ロハン先生、ひどい。
てめえはエンヤバ。
さてさて、嬉しいやんの。わしゃ嬉しいんじゃ、丈太郎。てめえをこの手で仕留められるからな。でっこき丈太郎。
なんだあのばあさんは。
霧で相手の体を操るスタンド使いだ。どうやら死体を大量に引き連れてきたようだぜ。
死体？
なんか若くないっすか？
あ？何言ってやがるてめえ。
オープンだけ。
やれお前たち。
さっきからわけわかんねえこと言ってんじゃねえぞ。
またしてもわしの邪魔をするか、丈太郎。所詮お前などあのお方の前にはチリアクタのごとき存在だというのに。
おいばあさん、てめえらが口にするあのお方ってのは何者なんだ？
なに？そんなこともわからんのか？この毒されつかた野郎が。あのお方こそは王の中の王、世界を支配する器の持ち主。お前が歯向かったところで上書きされて消滅するのがオチよ。
上書き
といったところで理解はできまいがな。けけけけけ、焦ることはない。いずれ会えるとも。会った時がお前の最後だがね。
上書きだとわけのわからねえこと言いやがった。しかしあのお方ってのは何者なんだ？エンヤバーやウンドゥールたちが忠誠を誓う存在。いや、まさかな。さてと、詳しい話は後でするが、俺たちは聖なる遺体ってやつを集める旅をしている。その協力をしてもらえると助かるんだがな。
もちろんだとも。こんな面白い現象を見逃すわけにはいかない。
奥安くんや由香子さんを元に戻すためなら僕も行きます。
いいよ、そんな気にすんなよな。
あ
袋だとか。あんたとそういう話すんのは2回目だしよ。もうお腹いっぱいっつうかよ。
あ？
じゃあ俺外の空気吸ってくるから、仲良くやろうぜマッチョじじい。
マッチョじじい。
金からジョウスケ君が出てきた。
お、高一にロハン。この亀すげえよ。中が部屋になってたよ。宇宙船みてえでかっぴょいいぜ。おめえらも入ってみろよ。
宇宙船だと？この小汚い亀がか？うわ！
ロハン先
生。なんすか？
遺体の共鳴。近くに聖なる遺体があるようだな。そらたそらたそらたそらたそらたそらたおらおらおらおらおら
おう。
なんだよ。
俺が作った商売の流れなんだよ。だもの。私が東方フルーツ屋の4代目東方ノリスケだ。だもの。 俺が作った商売の流れなんだよ。
だもの。
私が東方フルーツ屋の4代目東方ノリスケだ。どうや。さあ入ってくれ。案内しよう。たっぷり。どうや。さあ入ってくれ。また来いよ。
丈太郎さん、なんすかこの光は。軽くてカサカサしてて気持ち悪いぜ。
おい、丁寧に扱いな。そいつはおめえの聖なる遺体だぜ。
一応亀の中で話は聞いたけどよ、全部で9個あって集めててこいつで4個目なんすよね。
そうだ。
ひらめいた。露伴に見せて嫌がらせしてやろった。
やれやれ。
おい長太郎、亀の中でいいものを見つけたぞ。
いいもの？
カメラじゃよ。
カメラを使えばジョースターさんのハーミットパープルなら。
今回の事件の黒幕を念写で映し出すことができるはず。
うん、トラブルの張本人を暴いてやるまい。行くぞ、ハーミットパープル。これはまさ
ディオ？
バカな、ディオのはずがない。そんなはずは。
ジョースターさん、スタンドの力加減を間違えたんじゃないか？
いや、ジジイ、おめえのスタンドは間違っちゃいねえぜ。ずっと疑問に思っていたが、ウンドゥールやエンヤバーたちが忠誠を誓う相手ってのはディオ以外には思いつかね
しかし奴はわしらがこの手で灰にしたはず。
死んだはずの者が生きているというのなら僕もそうです。
確かに言われてみりゃバニラアイスもそうだぜ。あの男が従うのはディオだけだ。
どういう理屈でかは分からんが、ディオの野郎が生きていて裏で糸を引いていると考えておいた方がいいってことだな。
Okay, so that will be the end of the story. Tomorrow I'll pick up the rest of the story with regards to Jojo. Yeah, so I'm going to do pick up the story of Jojo moving forward tomorrow.
どのモードをプレイするのだ？しばしの別れだな。ジョジョの奇妙な冒険、アイズ・オブ・ヘブン。
So what I'll do is I'll end this one right here, and then tomorrow I'll pick it up, or the day after tomorrow, depending on the situation. I just want to proceed forward through the story because I kind of got a hint and I kind of knew that it was probably going to be someone like Dio. Because since everyone's coming back to life, then he's obviously gonna come back to life. But unlike everyone else, he kind of got dusted because he's a vampire. So he didn't die in a way like getting shot, run over, or his head popped off or anything like that. Or he got exploded. I mean, if you get exploded and stuff, you'll still have parts of you. So I guess you could put back together and stuff. But he just got vaporized, like atomized, and turned into nothing but dust. Not even ashes, he just became dust. Everything, even down his ashes, got vaporized. So it's kind of weird that he's back. But it's not really that weird to begin with. So it's not really that weird to begin with, but thankfully I'll be able to pick this up to tomorrow or the day after tomorrow.
こはオプションモードだ。リモールティ重要なのは設定に。
Yeah, so I'll pick this up tomorrow. I'll keep the volume like this down for a while, so that when I log it tomorrow, I don't have to adjust it again. I'll just have to crank it back up. But the story is getting interesting. Like I said, the fighting isn't that interesting. It's kind of boring, and it's kind of weird because it's like when they had the fight modes, it's like they automatically you beat one guy and then you have to fight another guy. They didn't spread the enemies out thin enough through various missions. It was just like enemy after enemy after enemy, and then the story finishes, and then you continue on to the next chapter. A lot of talking, and then enemy after enemy, and story ends. So there's no like real value with change or anything with regards to the game. That's why I say this is like anywhere from 5.5 to 6.5 game. Not even 6.5. 5.5 to like 6.4 game. But I wouldn't even say that either because like games like Zombie Army 4, the people put that in the 6 point something range, and that game's better than this. So I would say this game is like in the high fives, 5.7, 5.8 to the low sixes, like 6.1, 6.2. But from mid sixes to high, I don't see it. So, but this game was made primarily for the fans. So from a fan's point of view, this game would be in the high sixes if you're talking simply fans perspective. But if you're talking like overall gaming that has nothing to do with fans, then this is in like the low fives to mid fives. Everything from its foundation was done correctly. There's like no bugs whatsoever, no glitches whatsoever, like not a single one. Like even in the most detailed games, you will have 2 or 3 or even 4 bugs. But this has like absolutely no bugs. I haven't run into. Maybe there's 1, maybe there's 2, but the fact that this has less problems simply because 1, it's a solo game, so there's no reason for much bugs anyway. And 2, I haven't run into any real problems that has nothing to do with multiplayer or cross-playing or interactivity with the environment and everything. And unlike games like Alien, Fireteam Elite, and Evil Dead franchise, smaller budget games, this game at least allows you to jump over things. You know, you just don't sidestep to try to go around them and stuff. You could at least climb over walls and go through certain things and climb over things. Like if you bump into something like that's statically there like this, you could at least go over it, around it. And if you can't go around it, then you could jump over it. I don't understand why certain games that low budget or not don't even have the capacity to do a jump ability, especially when you have terrain that it's a pain in the ass to get all the way around. So I never understand games like that. There's nothing whatsoever budget to not make a game have jumping. That's why I could never see a game like Elden Ring or any of the Souls game to be like in the like a 9.9, 10 category. Simply because it'll have something like as easy and as fundamental and as preschool as jumping. And if someone say, well, jumping is not easy at all, you have to put it for every single character in every coding, then you have to do that for every single thing. Like every meshes of every stone has to be connected to its proper mesh, and every coding for every character's dialogue has to be placed. Like the dialogue for characters is much harder than for putting the coding for jumping, because you have to connect certain dialogues at specific points of conversation, and then you have to make sure those dialogues at those specific points of conversation do not overlap other characters' dialogue while they're talking, and then you have characters talking in the background, so all different dialogues happening at the same time. So to not put something as simple as the jumping in your game, that will always piss me off, and I will always keep games, even my favorite Soul game, Bloodborne, I will keep that in the 9.8 category. That's why I know games like Elden Ring getting 10 and 9.8 and 9.7, that's all BS bullshit lies. You know, if a game can't even put something as simple as jump, and there've been so many Souls game that's been out since the beginning, and they try to use some BS that that's the game style of the game, why it doesn't have jumping in there. You know, Souls games aren't meant for you to jump around. That's bullshit. That's bullshit times 10,000. Like every single game that exists have jumping in it, and the games that don't have jumping allow you to parkour over things if you don't want to run all the way around. So Sekiro kind of give you the opportunity to use like uh, a shuriken that could attach to something. Well, it's not really a shuriken, but allow you to use a grappling hook in order to get to places and to get over things. And Elden Ring gave you like a mount so you could jump over things. But to be honest with you, like just for a character to simply not be able to jump over things themselves tells you that the character that they've made for that game, Elden Ring, is the same old-fashioned code from way back into Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3 era. That's all there is to it. It's not like, oh, we just want the character to be nostalgic and memorable. Like, no, man, it's the same old-fashioned code that's still there that they're unwilling to change or move around anywhere, because if they invest more time into something and put more coding into their old coding, then that takes away from the time of doing other things. Like these clowns don't fool me whatsoever at all. That's why I say Elden Ring greater. Man, if you can't tell the obvious staring you in the face, or if you haven't played Souls game, then you won't see it. I don't want to hear any of that stuff about shut the hell up and everything. Man, you all fuckers are the ones that don't look deeper into stuff. You're just there to have fun and enjoy it and kick ass and take names and say, hey, who am I to judge? If you want to doing something in devils in the details, then I don't want to hear that, hey, shut the hell up, man. You know, you're just a nobody. Don't tell anyone how to enjoy the game. Like, same as someone going to watch a painting or a movie. Like, if you're not paying attention to what the designer did in that painting and the specific of that painting, if you're just going there to see something pretty, then you're just a freaking casual. And you go that way, man. Leave painting to the other artists or people who at least try to appreciate the devils in the details. Not so some person that just want to be there for fun and to have fun with their friends. Oh, I didn't have fun with my friends playing this game, but I had fun with my friends playing this game. If you're just there for the talks and to have fun and to be entertained, and you ain't really paying attention to the artwork. Listen, but rich or poor, whoever you are, famous or not, your clown ass mother, if you're not paying attention to devils and details, or if you don't give a damn, like just another human being off, another human being born in this world. You don't respect what other people do. And if you say, yeah, respect it, well, your actions contradicts what it is that you're saying with regards to the game by turning the cheek and looking the blind eye. So that's all I gotta say. Every time I bring up Elden Ring, it's the same shit, because and it's not just Elden Ring. It's games that people always give 10 out of 10 and high nines for, and you see the faults. There are so many of these games that exist out there. So many, like way back in the days. Like if I remember clearly, when what was it that game? Like Mass Effect was Mass Effect. The first Mass Effect, like, it was so great and all this, but then it had so many flaws, and nobody wants to speak about it because it was such an epic story. And then the game came to Mass Effect 2, and then they cleaned it up. And then here's another one. This is another one. This was not a Souls game, but this was like a Tekken game. Tekken 2. When Tekken 2 came out, people thought it was really shit hot, because it was different, it was new, and it was better than the first Tekken. So they said, oh, this is great, we can't wait for the next thing. But they were willing to ignore all the faults and trials and tribulations of that game until Tekken 3 came out, and it did a far better job than what that game was supposed to do. And then there's the other one as well that people gave high score for, and I believe it wasn't the Aliens Isolation game. It wasn't an Aliens game. It was people were hyping up the and said it did such a good job, and got nines and tens and stuff. I believe it was either um, it was either the Heavy Rain game or it was either the first Silent Hill game. It was either one of those. It was either the Heavy Rain game or the first Silent Hill game. And the first Silent Hill game was okay, but it wasn't great. It was only when Silent Hill 2 came out, it was better than Silent Hill 1. And the same for Heavy Rain. When Heavy Rain came out, people would say it was this interactive button and how things look so realistic and all this was the greatest for like interactive, like cinematic movie game ever. And then a game like Until Dawn came out, and that was better than that game, or other interactive game movies. And it didn't do good within the gameplay arena anyway, the Heavy Rain. So that's all I got to say with regards to that. And then there are other games as well that people hype up and still hype up to this day. What was it? Was Resident Evil? It was I think it was Revelations 2. RE Revelations 2. Now, RE Revelations 2 is a good game, and it's a very good game, but it's not a great game. Not enough for the type of points that people gave towards it. And say, oh, I love RE Revelations 2. Like, if you actually play that game from beginning to end, and if you actually play their battle modes and their other stuff in there, you get to see the faults. You get to see the cracks. You get to see the crevices. Like, just because a bunch of people like the game doesn't mean the game is faulty. And just because you want to turn the cheek and look the other way doesn't mean that there isn't stuff present within the game. Same as this game. This is not that good of a game. This is more like for fandom. But at least it got majority of the things right with regards to its foundation, and with regards to its setup, and with regards to its design, and with regards to its animation, and with regards to its coding. So all these bases are covered, as well as its pop-ups and everything else. See, the clouds in the sky are moving. Those are coding to make the clouds in the sky look moving. And every time you move back and forth, there's a coding to make the shadow of the character move with the as linked to the feet of the shadow of the character that you're using. So when you're running around, it's not like the light from a sun or something coming down on the character. It's the coding for the character shadow that's designed to give off that illusion. And then you have stuff, the light effects and stuff that's around to make things look lighter. And that's how that works. And then you have characters like you interact with, and press the interactive button, it just pop up real quick, and then it goes away. Really quick, and then the text comes up as you press the X button, all instantaneously at the same time. So that if you want to do a long reading, you could read the whole thing without it gradually going as you're reading it. So that's more of a so that's more of that's a very good coded thing. And then there's the rollovers, and then there's the pop-up effects and the buttons design. So anytime you're near something, or you're near an item, or you're moving,